We call it people technology.
A 20-run win then for the Chennai Super Kings that propels them to the top of the table at the IPL 2021. This is Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout with Sanjay Manjrekar and Dale Steyn. We'll figure why the Mumbai Indians have restarted slowly as well. They have a reputation of starting slowly. They both thought, Sanjay and Dale at halftime, that these are runs that Mumbai should still get, even though they didn't have Rohit Sharma and Hardik Pandey. But Dale, that was an innings that didn't quite have any real momentum at any stage.
Yeah, just seem to lose wickets regularly in funny ways, and no one kind of got going, and even Tiwari there at the end, who scored 50 or 40, it almost looks pedestrian in a way because he didn't hit those big sixes or get flying in the latter overs. But if he had one or two more guys to go with him, you're knocking off those runs. 120 balls in a 2020 game, and only needing 150. So strange innings by Mumbai, but some clever bowling by CSK and some clever captaincy. Like contrasting to the way that Mumbai went about it. Started off beautifully, and I thought maybe one little mistake there for Pollard when he could have gone for the kill, brought on the spinners, allowed CSK back into the game. They built up some momentum, and on the contrast to that side, Dhoni, very clever, used his seamers really well, and bowled his spinners when he thought he needed to get through overs. Bravo was fantastic tonight, and well played CSK. They surprised me. They had a wonderful team, but I didn't think they were going to get over the line, and they did.
Is your first thought at the end of this game, Sanjay, more about Mumbai not being able to make it, or more admiration for Chennai and Deepak Chahar and the seamers and the way they bowl?
Both, I guess, but considering that they were chasing a target of less than 8 runs an over with the kind of experience Mumbai Indians have in their batting line, despite the absence of Rohit Sharma, they should have got there. More difficult setting targets, but when the target is under 150, it's one of the easier things to do in T20 batting. Having said that, what was noticeable again was the fact how Quinton de Kock started off. He started off as if they were chasing 200 runs. Surya Kumar Yadav also were trying to play some shots, trying to play a big shot, getting out. Ishan Kishan also, but this is how Mumbai Indians always play, no matter what the target is. So this time it went wrong, and I thought the bowling of Deepak Chahar with those two early wickets was superb. My admiration for this guy as a T20 player keeps growing. In Sri Lanka, he showed a batting dimension to his T20 cricket as well. So Hazelwood's wicket of Pollard and Deepak Chahar's early strikes, I thought, just took the wind out of the sails of that Mumbai run chase.
He continues to be a bowler that just finds ways to have an impact in games. Dale, Deepak Chahar, he's not made the main 15 for the Indian T20 World Cup squad. But how do you see him evolve as a T20 bowler? Does he look like someone who should be part of that Indian side? And maybe regardless of that as well, what do you make of Deepak Chahar, the T20 bowler?
He keeps bowling the way he bowled tonight. He's going to make it into that team sooner rather than later. And he's got all the skills. He seems to be nippy off the deck. That's one thing that is great. He almost seems to gather pace once the ball hits the deck. And he rushes guys, and then he's got a great slow ball. And key thing in 2020 cricket is to take wickets in the power play. If you can take wickets in the power play, you're going to win a lot of games, and he's doing that. He's able to take wickets in the first 6 overs, but the first 2 that he bowls, he's putting his team into a wonderful position to win cricket games, and he's doing that often. So if he continues in this route, he'll be playing for India a lot more, and he'll be playing in World Cups and bigger tournaments going forward.
As we just go through that scorecard and we just look at Mumbai Indians, all this reputation, Surya Kumar Yadav, Ishan Kishan, Sanjay, is it okay to say, fine, one game rusty, or do you expect a little more?
Yes, and something again, the data has shown us that the team batting first won in the end, and even 140 odd was enough. Whether the pitch slows down a little bit, because you got the impression when Surya Kumar Yadav was trying to hit through the line, the ball didn't come on. Ishan Kishan also, tried to hit in the air with power. The power didn't come in. So you just wonder. But more rustiness than anything. But I thought the pitch would play a lot better for both teams. But this grass covering that they have on the surface, it's making a little more difficult for batters to play their shots. So when I look at Mumbai Indians' performance, Ishant Kishan's failure, Surya Kumar Yadav's failure, Quinton de Kock, I thought started really well. I think those are the kind of things that just hurt Mumbai as they began, their typical method of chasing down runs.
As you perhaps, there's a good chance Rutraj Gaikwad will be man of the match. But if you look at the most telling contribution or most game-changing moments in this game, Dale, where would you go? How much time would you spend on Dwayne Bravo? Little cameo, managed to get a couple of wickets as well.
Yeah, definitely. That little cameo there at the end just put a little bit of momentum into CSK's sails, and they just got them going, And then again with the ball, Bravo is fantastic at bowling the death overs. You'll see he's a wicket hunter. He bowls balls to get wickets, especially when he's bowling in the death. And tonight, when he felt like his team was in a position where they were clean, they were going to win, he was able to do that and put the executing blow on Mumbai. But with the bat, I thought it was really important that he came out and he did what he did, because had Chennai finished on a 130 or somewhere, 135 odd 140, it would have made immensely more difficult to go out there and try and defend that total. But those runs just kind of helped them in possibly picking up a couple of wickets in that power play and just being up for the game tonight.
In so many of these games, we've seen the batter who gets that unbeaten 80 odd or 70 odd get the player of the match award. I believe Dwayne Bravo's got it this time, so it's not a bad call, Sanjay.
Really? I'm actually
Yes.
surprised, and that's a brilliant
Surprised.
call. And I'm glad that you raised that point as well, because you can see somebody who's got an 88 or 58, and it stands out in a low-scoring game. But you were spot on with his contribution of 23 runs of 8 balls that really made the game competitive in the end. So it was Bravo's flourish in the end. And then I think 4 overs to 23 runs, a couple of wickets, and one towards the end, bowling the difficult overs. I think that's an excellent choice. And I must confess, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's
A good
I
run
believe
out
it's
too.
a good run
Oh,
out.
yeah.
A good
On the
run out. Good throw.
And also,
Yeah.
and also slightly irrelevant is because, your eyes always are on Dhoni, the captain, and very rarely Dale, you would know that you see daggers in MS's eyes when he's on the field. And today I
Yeah.
saw that when Bravo went for that catch, and it clearly was the keeper's catch. Dhoni had made a gesture, "This is mine," and you could see he was sort of breathing fire at the time. So it just gives you a little bit of an
Yeah, you don't
inkling
want
as
to.
to what kind of state MS is in. He wants to desperately win this title to leave a legacy, I guess. Dale, you were saying?
No, I was going to make a joke and say the one person you don't want to annoy is your captain. So luckily he got the man of the match award, because had he not, you never know, he may not play the next game. But yeah, fantastic performance from them all round.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were very
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Great
conversation to
choice.
have before CSK's next game with Sam Curran available after his quarantine, whether there's room for him, whether Josh Hazelwood would make way. You wouldn't possibly remove Dwayne Bravo after a player of the match effort, but who knows? Maybe they'll rest and rotate Bravo, who seems to have kept his bowling for the IPL, chose not to use it towards the end of the CPL, the Patriots, but it comes out for the CSK in yellow. Right, they're at the top of the table. We speak of legacy and captains and whatnot, and we were surprised to hear, and perhaps again surprised by the timing more than the announcement itself, that during that second innings, Virat Kohli decided that he doesn't want to captain RCB anymore after this year's IPL, after the remainder of the IPL. He has added an extra line though there that he will continue to be an RCB player till he plays his last IPL game. Very interesting. Of course, recently relinquished the T20I captaincy or stepped down from the T20I captaincy and now follows suit in franchise cricket as well. Dale Steyn's played under Virat Kohli at RCB. Timing of the announcement is just on the eve of their first game in this resumption. Dale, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean he's served RCB really well. He's been there from the very beginning. And I know as life goes on, you start to prioritize other things. He's got a young family right now, and captaincy can weigh heavily on the brain. Which in effect, and your personal life can also weigh heavily on you. And now all of a sudden, you captain, you got to lead from the front. So maybe relinquishing a little bit of that responsibility and being able to focus on just his batting is a good decision at this time of his career. We don't doubt his captaincy. He's a fantastic leader, and his personal achievements speak for themselves. So It's really up to him as to what he wants to do. So maybe a good decision with the World Cup coming up around the corner. We could see the best of Virat coming out for the remainder of this IPL and the World Cup.
Well, you say that, and I know I was very fond, a very popular captain is Virat Kohli. But remember Gautam Gambhir saying at the end of last year's IPL, how towards the end of RCB's season, that this is perhaps someone who enjoys the captaincy of RCB more, than others who would be captain of their franchises. RCB still in search of that maiden IPL title. Kohli's been captain for 8 years. The decision, though, has come at the behest of Kohli, Sanjay, and not the franchise. And of course, this follows his recent announcement of wanting to step down from the T20I captaincy as well. Does that stay in sync now? If he's not going to lead India in T20Is, then this also just relieves him from that extra bit of pressure as captain in the IPL for 2 months a year.
I remember on this platform also we talked about how much workload Virat Kohli has because he's an automatic choice in all the three formats, captains in all three formats at the international level, at the IPL level, and he's one of those guys who won't sort of space himself out. That I'll take it easy in a couple of games and then bring my A game on for the next match or something. He's out there investing everything that he has in every ball of a match. That's how he plays his cricket, and that is the greatest strength of Virat Kohli, the intensity with which he plays and the commitment that he gives on the field, physically, mentally, as a batter as well. I'm just curious about both announcements as to why it was needed to make before the tournaments, that I'll be resigning after the T20 tournament. It could have been done like Sunil Gavaskar, if you remember, famously after they won that mini World Cup in Australia, said that nobody knew about it. They won the title and Gavaskar was the captain, and he said that I'm thankful to my teammates for giving me this wonderful gift of this title on my last day of captaincy. So I'm just a little curious about the timing. This also comes way in advance before the tournament has finished. Both, I think, decisions could have been made after the tournament finished.
I wonder what you as a modern day player feel of that sort of emotion, Dale, when a captain comes and tells you pre-tournament or mid-tournament in this case, I've been captaining for 7-8 years. Some of you might have played with me for 7-8 years, maybe less in franchise cricket, but this will be my last season as captain. Does that have any sort of, can you relate to any sort of emotion when a captain comes and says that?
I mean, I've experienced a couple of things like this. I remember Jock Callis announcing his retirement and just surprising everybody. And I went out with him for dinner afterwards, and I still didn't believe that he was telling me the truth, even though he'd spoken to the team and addressed the team. And for a long time, I just didn't quite understand it, And as somebody who recently retired, as in just like the last 2 weeks ago, I can tell you that it weighed heavily on my brain for a while, and all I wanted to do was get it out there. I wanted to have it at the perfect time and everything like that, but eventually it just grew so heavily on me that I just needed to do it right there and then. And maybe that's something that's happened with Virat right now, is that he knows that if he hangs on to this throughout this tournament, it's just going to weigh heavily on him until the end. So maybe best for him to just say it right now. I mean, it's on the eve of their first game, and it's the day of the start of the IPL continuing, but rather get it out of the way. And now all he's got to do is worry about captaining the team for the rest of this tournament and then going to the World Cup. So it does boil down to the individual, but I'm sure everybody in that dressing room will be surprised. Knowing about business,
Yeah.
he's all in. And captaincy is one of those things that you just see part of Virat. He's all in all the time. But I mean, maybe this is a good decision for him. Having not won the IPL for as many years as RCB have been around, maybe a change of luck. Who knows?
I just want to make one point. I've seen players make those kind of announcements, and it becomes easier for the media and the public also. If a legend, announces his retirement in advance that I'm going to retire out of the series, for a captain, slightly different. What should I say? A different situation. I remember Mahendra Singh Dhoni giving up his captaincy and quitting Test cricket in Australia, and Virat Kohli immediately was the captain for the next game. So that's the only thing that I find a little odd about why announce relinquishing your captaincy so much in advance before the tournament has started with regards to T20 World Cup and the IPL. Well, it could have, been like you give your best, you're the captain now, and at the end of it, the decision could have been made, would have looked a little. I would have liked it better.
Yeah, sure.
He may
So,
have if
yes, Dale.
Sorry.
if I was going to say, I was just thinking about it now. He may be just trying to put out and extinguish some fires before they actually happen. You know, having relinquished the Indian captaincy. If he has two or three bad scores in the next couple games, people might start questioning him whether he should give up the RCB captaincy too. You know, so before that even comes into question, he may have decided, before we go down that road, let me just say that this is also part of my thinking, and I'm going to get it over and done with. But
Well, there you go.
I've never been a captain, so I don't actually know. Never was given that opportunity.
Yeah,
we don't
that's the
deserve.
feeling. I mean, I didn't say it in as many words, but that is also, some people would interpret that as just taking the load off, taking the pressure off.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Fair points from both of you. Before I wrap this chat up, perhaps you could weigh in on that second part of the statement from RCB too, which is curious. You have cricket Twitter getting all cheeky and saying, "What if the franchise doesn't want to retain you, Virat Kohli?" But we know that's not going to happen. Even with the big auction coming up, it's obviously going to be someone else's responsibility now to be in the management's ear as to the kind of players that they want. But what about that statement, Dale? That I will continue to be an IPL player till I play T20 or till I play IPL. So he's reinforced his commitment to the franchise, just not as captain.
Yeah, I mean, it does boil down to the coaches and RCB management at the end of the day. And as it doesn't matter how good a player as you are, you could see yourself walking. I mean, I've seen Chris Gale leave the team, but he's not an Indian legend the way that Virat is. We've also seen David Beckham leave Manchester United after playing for an entire lifespan for them and go and play for other teams. But Cristiano Ronaldo recently returned to Man United. So you don't know. You've got these famous people that play for club teams for a long time. And who knows? I know Virat was originally from Delhi. For all we know, Delhi could say, "Come and finish with us." Who knows? You just never know. But it is nice to know that he has committed himself to the club and that he wants to be there to see an IPL trophy come to RCB. He's given so many years of effort, and I think that could be in the back of his mind too, is that he's not going to leave there until he wins an IPL for RCB.
I think it's a very interesting point, Dale, that Dale mentioned, Sanjay. And the thing we need to remind ourselves of is Kohli is just 32. He's been around and he's seen so much. But, a lot of players, if you have a Rohit Sharma at 34 who's also played at a different franchise before coming to Mumbai, say that, perhaps you can reconcile with it a bit. But, there'd be enough franchises that would have wanted Virat Kohli whenever he became somewhat available. But he looks like RCB will in a real world, you don't see an RCB releasing Virat Kohli at any auction at any stage.
Again, this is all very curious. In fact, this is also something that stood out in that statement for me, that I'll continue to be an RCB player till the end of the IPL. So again, it will take me a while to really understand what all this is, because it's strange that both captaincy relinquishing that he's done it so much in advance as the tournament is playing, sort of unfolding, and the scenario is getting played out, and he's taken a decision already, and we sort of hinted why that could be the reason. So I'm not sure. It's just curious, all these statements coming, and the rationale not able to understand.
Sure. What it does is it extends our work a little bit, doesn't it? We've had a Kohli chat as long as we've had a match review chat on
He is a legend, though.
He is. There's no disputing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's always fun to talk about legends.
Yes, true.
I mean, there are a few people that get conversation going in cricket in India or anywhere like Virat Kohli does. So, and we've had plenty of Virat Kohli chat. In fact, it's almost overshadowed everything. The Test series in England, the anticipation to the IPL and the World Cup, it's all been Virat Kohli in recent days. Tells you why a franchise wouldn't mind keeping him on, whether he's captain or not. Dale Steyn, Sanjay Manjrekar, I don't think this is the last we've discussed of Kohli at the restart of the IPL. So more from you as more games come our way. Tomorrow, of course, is RCB KKR. Do join us then for Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. Story from the restart is exactly as it was on the 19th of September 2020, where Chennai have downed Mumbai Indians, and they look pretty good at where they stand in the points table.
We call it people technology.